Hey there, it's Rob Hatch, and this is Simple Decisions. Reflective practice. Reflective practice is a deliberate act of making some time to look back on an experience in an attempt to glean something from the experience, to learn from it, to grow from it, to look for opportunities to build on what you did well. And maybe, perhaps, yes, in some cases, learn from some mistakes. But more often than not, the lessons are contained in what went well. Reflective practice has come in many different names. It's a concept that was developed back in the 1930s, or first introduced in the 1930s, but we've heard about it from folks like Dale Carnegie, who had a weekly review, from Stephen Covey, who had a habit of sharpen the saw. All of that were elements of taking time to rest, to reflect, and to make sense of what's gone on in the prior week, or even just one experience. One of my favorite quotes is from educational philosopher John Dewey, and he says, adults don't learn by doing, they learn by reflecting on what they've done. I think this is so important to learn. As kids, we have to get our hands dirty, and it's not that we can't learn that way, but there is a process now as adults with an adult brain that requires us to sort of reflect and begin to integrate the elements that we've learned into our thinking, into our mindset, into our approach, and that's where growth happens as an adult. We've gone through so many of the physical changes, and that's why we needed to experience things more physically as children. Now it's time to grow our mind, to grow our mindset. So reflective practice does that. Sometimes reflective practice can actually happen in the moment. We can catch ourselves sort of feeling something in the moment. Maybe something kind of triggers an emotional reaction. And in that moment, we pause, even for the tiniest fraction of a second, to think, what do I want to do here? How do I want to respond? We can kind of stop time and make decisions. Do I respond defensively? Do I respond with understanding? What guides those responses? Do I want to I want to value this relationship. So if I want to value the relationship, and I don't want to be put off by something that someone has said, but I think the relationship is really important, then I may respond differently than if I just wanted to argue a point. So just in those little moments, that's an aspect of reflective practice where we're taking in some information, and looking at it and making a decision. Right after an experience is also sometimes a good time to kind of quickly reflect, but then again, sometimes we need a little bit more distance. So having a practice, as Dale Carnegie used to recommend, of a weekly review where you'd sit down at the end of the week and kind of take stock of what happened, what went well over the course of the week. Why did it go well? What did you do? How did you do that? That's not unlike what I was discussing in the last episode, building on your success. That happens from reflection. We have to be able to break down and understand what it was that we did that enabled that success. That's how we develop a framework. That's how we develop an approach to replicating success time and time and time again. We have to figure out what levers we want to pull in order to affect change and affect the type of change that we want to affect, to replicate that success. Otherwise, we're just taking shots in the dark over and over again, pushing all the levers all at once and hoping something sticks. But this idea of reflective practice is where we discover what it is that went well, what it is that we want to build on and replicate. So however you do it, maybe just 5 minutes at the end of the day, maybe it's 10 minutes at the end of the week. It doesn't have to be a set time, but make some time in your day, in your week, to take stock and think about what went well in a situation, what enabled you to be successful in that situation, so that you can capture it and use it as a framework to build on in the future. That's the power of reflective practice. I'm Rob Hatch, and this is Simple Decisions.